Hello, and welcome back to another Northwood Tales Spoopy podcast. What do you got next? What do we got?
Well, should we introduce ourselves? We didn't really do that last
I
time.
don't wanna. Yeah.
So, my name is Sydney.
I'm Emily.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see our lovely faces. If you're streaming this, you won't have to see our faces.
Good.
So in today's episode, we want to talk about UFOs.
Aliens.
And this one specifically takes place in Warren, Minnesota, which I think is like towards the cities. I'm not entirely sure exactly where it's at. So this one starts off on August 27th of 1979 in the town of Warren. And it has to deal with a sheriff named Val Johnson. He was making a routine patrol down some rural roads or back roads when he saw a bright light in the night sky. And he thought it might be an aircraft from a nearby Air Force base because it was right next to, I think, South Dakota. I think it's close by South Dakota.
Yes. It's in the upper corner.
Yeah, I think so. Warren must be a western part of the state. And then he saw a bright light further down the road, so he decided to investigate.
Oh no!
The light was about a foot across and hovering about 3 feet off the ground. He drove toward the light, and suddenly the light sped towards him, and both he and the vehicle were engulfed in a white light.
Oh no! What?
And this event, well, we're not sure how long the event actually happened for because he woke up 30 minutes later. Like, sitting in his car was off to the side of the road, on the opposite side of the road, of the median. And he just woke up, didn't know what happened.
Oh no.
Didn't really have any recollection. So he radioed for his colleague after he regained consciousness to let them know, like, hey, something happened. Like, I got hit by something. Like, I don't know what it was. So the officer called an ambulance for him just to see if he was okay. And this is where things get even more, like, bizarre. Because when he was taken to the hospital, the doctor said his eyes and face were burned with what was described as welder's burns.
Oh.
You know, like when you're right next to, like, the hot heat, the bright light, like...
Did he have any eyebrows left?
That they did not specify that.
Oh, nuts.
And then he also had a lump on his forehead and some minor scratches and bruises. And another weird thing is there was 4 different impact spots on his patrol car, which I think is pretty weird. You think if it was like a deer or another car, it would be like just one big ol' indent or something like that in his car. So the 4 different things were his windshield was cracked in a spiderweb pattern. There was a hole in his red flasher on the front side. I don't remember which side of the car it was on. And then a dime-sized dent on the hood.
Oh.
And 2 of his antennas, because the police cars, especially the older ones, they have the big antennas. So those were up, and one of them was bent at a 45 angle, and one of them was bent at a 90-degree angle. So you can kind of see from the pictures here.
So this car is like those old, like, Ghostbuster style.
Yeah, this was, what year did I say? 1979. So we're merging into the 80s. But yeah, you can see the antenna on the top picture there. It's just kind of, I think that's the 45.
That's so weird.
And then the spiderweb crack, which makes it seem, from the picture with that dent, it makes it seem like it either bounced the hood.
Yeah, and then hit
the windshield and spiderweb, but I'm not sure about the rest of everything else. How that's possible for that to happen.
You could think with, like, the windshield that it'd be like a rock.
Yeah.
That would just, like, fly, like hail, something. But the antennas, like, not a rock would just rip the antenna off.
That's really weird.
Unless you got some alien coming down and just, like, bending the antenna. Like,
well, yeah, and for it to, like, if a kid was, like, throwing rocks at the car, how do you explain the light? And then how do you explain the welder burns?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
like maybe it could have been like a firework, but even then,
the windshield isn't completely gone though, and his side, did it say anything about the side of his car? Because nothing got in.
I don't think
Unless
anything.
they like grabbed him, shot him up to their spaceship, did their thing, and then dropped him back down.
They didn't say anything about the sides of the car. It's all just like frontal damage is what happened. So I think that's pretty weird. Like the most, and I don't know, back in the 80s, maybe there was like fireworks that were readily available. I'm sure there were, but I don't think it would do that much damage.
Yeah.
In order to cause you think it would cause the windshield to like have a web crack from a firework, depending on what kind of firework, I guess. 'Cause I know Minnesota, you can't have the flying ones legally.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was instated. I know Wisconsin, you can kind of sneak them over the border.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know if it would do that much damage. Maybe.
The ones that blow up underwater. If you ever were a kid and you'd light the little things on fire, you throw them in the river, and they use them for like crawfish and stuff. That
Is it like
could
a bottle rocket?
kind of, but smaller. They're like tiny baby sticks of dynamite.
Okay.
But
Well, that's how you fishing. That's how you fishing over in Wisconsin.
don't judge. No, has that place had, because obviously it's not Bigfoot. Bigfoot didn't come out with a flashlight.
And this is
so
like
it has to be aliens.
Yeah. And it was a routine, just driving on the back roads, making sure there's no vandals and whatever else. And he didn't say that he heard any noises either. He just saw the light.
That's crazy.
If it was a firework, you'd hear noises.
Yes.
So.
And it would, actual fire moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bulb, not really.
Yeah.
So if this is just would be like a stagnant light.
That's how we described it, yeah. It was just like hovering and floating there in the road. At first
aliens.
It was farther away, and then I got closer, and he drove to it to investigate it. And another like really weird thing, after they were investigating like the vehicle and the dents and like making sure he was okay, they noticed that the clock on his car had stopped for about 15 minutes, and his watch, which he usually calls them and says like, oh hey, like just to verify the time, and he sets it like at the beginning of his shift every day. Okay. And both clocks, both the wristwatch and his clock in his car had stopped for 14 minutes.
I'm guessing the clock wasn't digital?
In the car, I'm not sure. I
would assume the vehicle is digital.
Yeah, but it's a regular just wristwatch. So probably like the, what is it, quartz?
Quartz?
One.
Yeah. Quartz? We know about quartz.
Yeah, or like a battery wristwatch. So
if it's quartz, that makes so much sense that it was aliens.
The correlations. But yeah, it's just weird that both of them had stopped.
And then did it restart?
It started, after the 14 minutes, it started back up again.
So he was out for 30?
He was out for 30.
So that means the aliens came down. They're like, okay, we have 14 minutes to get this and get out.
Like, it just
drop them back in.
When you think about it, too, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, try doing anything
in a half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Or it was another dimension, and he was gone for like 5 years.
Well, he didn't age.
Oh, nuts. Okay.
I don't think that was... I'm less suspicious of that, more suspicious of the actual, like, alien...
Whodunit?
Yeah. Something is not right.
There no proof of, like, footprints. Obviously, they don't really have security cameras back in the 70s. They didn't
go into that, and I can read off some of the... I actually found the report here. Someone had posted it online. Ooh. So we can see the actual investigative report, because they, like, did a full-blown investigation on this just because it was so bizarre. Cool. And they even, with those clocks and everything, they contacted the manufacturer, which I think was Honeywell. And they couldn't explain it.
Oh, no.
So they had no idea what would have caused it.
So this is definitely kind of like a whodunit
Like what was this ball?
What done
this thing? I don't think paranormal has anything to do with it. I think, but like aliens could potentially be a thing.
Well, there's so many stories of light beams, people seeing just beams of light and then cut to black and then you reawaken.
Yeah. And that seems to be a trend, which is why some people think it's a hoax that Johnson made it up. Oh. But he's speculated himself, and I'll go into, there's an interview here.
Did they fingerprint the antennas?
I have no idea.
Because what force, unless there was like he drove through like a magnetic force, like those mystery hills that are out there, unless he just, got out of his car, smashed his own window, bent his little antennas, stopped the clock.
Yeah. But
like who's in that moment?
And I don't know if they've thought, I don't think they thought about that for the investigation part. Like who,
This is some Stephen King stuff.
Stephen
King did it.
I don't think he would have done it. I don't know if he would have thought to do all the 4 different things that had happened to it.
It's so weird. No one would think to just bend their antennas.
Yeah.
Especially like that costs money.
Yeah. If anything, most people would just think like, oh, it smashed my windshield sort of thing. So I can see that, but the antennas and the clock and everything, that's a little weird.
Can you imagine hitting a UFO? That would, like you're just driving along and you hit like the tail end, like the bottom part of the
That would
UFO.
Be just as bad as rear-ending like a car though.
Yeah.
Except, well, depending on how the UFO is shaped.
Unless the UFO was shooting something at them.
True.
Like, you're getting too close. We got to go steal this cow.
Stop stealing cows out here. And then, a couple of other articles that I found said there were other witness accounts of seeing, like, a bright light in the sky that night. So it wasn't just him. So that's another reason I don't think he's created this UFO story. Like, there was other people who saw it. Maybe they chalked it up to be like again, the Air Force base, like a plane or something, because at least here in Minneapolis, we're next to the Bloomington, the airport's here. Yeah. We're used to seeing that all the time. So we wouldn't think anything of it if we would have saw a light. But of course, I'm sure they read the articles and were like, hey, I saw a light that night too. Like, And
also, if I know they're not really next to like a lake, but for us when we're up in Duluth, the lighthouses, if you're not careful, just a shot of light.
They look a little weird. Yeah. Aliens. They just kind of come across. And the car was actually never repaired, and it was just impounded. And it's since been preserved in a public museum in Marshall County. So if we ever want to go see it, or if any of you listeners want to go see it, it's at the museum for you to go view.
Field trip. Let's go.
Yeah, it's still the same way. That's where all the pictures that we pulled from were from someone had taken it from the museum. I don't believe it was on their personal website, but it was on another website.
That they kept it. They didn't think like, if this was something crazy.
Yeah.
If no one really believed it, they'd be like, oh, okay, we got to reuse this because,
No, I'm sure there's like conspiracy theorists out there that are like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? And they kept it. And
wow. Let's hotwire it and drive it around.
So they could still find fingerprints, possibly. I don't know how long they last on something.
The antenna. Yeah. It's a metal.
If they've kept it.
Or if someone decided to dust it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's still a possibility.
I'm not a policeman. I don't know. I don't know the rules.
But yeah, and since like people speculated that he was doing this as like hoax and everything like that,
how old was he?
At the time, I think he was like in his 30s or 40s. Because now he's in his 80s and he's in Wisconsin now. So he's since moved.
He jumped not only a town, but a whole state. He's like, I'm getting out of here.
And I think that he kind of just grew tired of people asking him questions and stuff like that. Because he did interviews, and I have a couple different questions here that he was asked. And then there was an investigation. So, like, he was, like, in the newspapers, and I think he might have been on news stations and stuff like that.
At least local.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was ever on the Duluth news.
Mm-hmm. And I think... Yeah, most of the information I found was on online art, like news articles. There was only like a few UFO sighting like blogs and stuff like that I actually found like this specific event.
Wow.
So I think that's pretty interesting too, because you think if the police are pretty convinced about it being like a UFO, that more people would be
I feel like
wanting to talk about it.
They wouldn't have kept it. They wouldn't have kept the vehicle.
Yeah.
He probably would have been like, I feel like at least nowadays no one has time for someone to just make up their own stories. It's like, okay, you have work to do. Stop getting all fictional and crazy.
Yeah. So the one article that I actually found that wasn't very like news oriented, it's this one gentleman, I believe BJ Hollers was the writer, and I have a link to his page here, but he talks about the event, Close Encounters of the Midwest Kind, volume1.org is where it's at. So he goes to actually interview Johnson, and in the interview, BJ asks Johnson, the words we haven't brought up yet, and a lot of folks have in terms of this experience, are UFO or extraterrestrial. Are you distancing yourself from that possibility? And Johnson says, it is a possibility. It could be a UFO, it could be extraterrestrial, it could be time travel, it could be top security military from Grand Forks Air Force Base. It could be a variety of things, but my pay grade does not permit me to make all these speculations with any credibility, so I don't. So that's also like, does he know something if he can't 100% say that, oh, this is this? Just the way he worded it in that interview, unless he's like trying to pull BJ's leg, the interviewer, like, why would you state that?
Area 51.2.
Well, maybe the Air Force Base. Who knows?
Who would go to Minnesota and just like hunt for UFOs? Right? No one.
No, people come here to hunt for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, so why wouldn't Area 51 be like, we need a new base?
Right?
What if they're here?
Because they're in the middle of the desert right now. Mm-hmm. There, so why not do it in the middle of
like a mini one
prairie?
What if it like escaped and that's when it hit the dude's car trying to escape?
Because there's been so many like officials, and we've probably been watching way too much Ancient Aliens lately. But there's like so many officials that can't like confirm or deny the existence of like extraterrestrial life that we've confirmed.
Especially when they had to come out, was it last year or 2 years ago, with actual aerial, like fighter pilot footage.
Yeah.
So this might be, I feel like at that time they were just trying to hide everything.
Right.
And now they're like,
back in the 80s.
Slowly getting us into aliens.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of us already know.
Yeah.
Like you can't deny that there's life on a different rock.
Yeah. But I think Johnson was pretty adamant that he believed it was something abnormal. But it also, again, since he kind of like moved away and tried to get out of the spotlight, it makes me believe that he didn't try to hoax it, because otherwise you'd be milking that for everything. Just like that family
making movies, writing books.
Well, like that family with their kid that went up in the air and that floating thing that they said, their kid just kind of floated away. They did it for publicity, and the kid wasn't even in there. But they rode that until they got caught.
Yep.
I mean, it would be harder to get caught like back in the 80s and everything like that. But
he jumped states so that the government told him to not talk about it.
That could be it too. Well, I mean, he was a sheriff, so
was he retired when he moved to Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how soon after he retired after this event, but I'm pretty sure he was retired at that point when he had moved to Wisconsin.
That's good. You don't have to like do the same work in a different state.
Yep.
And then assume that, more aliens could come.
And I'm trying to see if there's any other information in the actual investigation report that I didn't discuss here, but I think most of it is pretty
there's a part that says he thought it could have been a light from an airplane. There's no commercial airports there. It's just the base, right?
That I'm not sure if I can look real
Mainly
quick.
because the government has done it before where they'll just fire something, fly something over a town so that people, without telling anyone. When they had that missile, quote unquote, go over LA, and then they're like, oh, that was us. A day later, it's like,
Yeah, because Warren's right there. Let's see, they are... How close to Grand Forks are they? Yeah, they're a little over half an hour from Grand Forks, and Grand Forks has an international airport.
Oh.
The GFK.
Okay.
So that they have a lot of planes coming in and out of there.
So logically, it could have been an airplane, but it still doesn't.
Why would it? Nothing would fly that low to the ground.
Exactly.
Being that
even at that time, there were like no-fly zones and like height.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, did they find anything in the cracked windshield, or was it just glass? Because usually when something hits a windshield, there's debris. I don't.
And from the picture,
I can't see anything on here.
Yeah, it's
it's the antennas. And
most
the
of it is just
that
the spider
confuse
web.
me.
It's just that little portion that's kind of like a bullet hole almost that like actually probably penetrated.
The aliens.
Well, if it would have went all the way through, but like that was the only piece. There's like one just area, and he doesn't say he got hit with anything. He had a bump on his head.
What I like is that on the investigation report, it says confidential in the corner.
Yeah. No, it's since been released.
There's
not articles of it.
Confidential. Yeah. It's no longer secret. It'd be interesting to go to that actual spot where it happened, like on the road,
just to see. Yeah,
because it couldn't have been a moose.
Yeah, on or about. Let's see. Another officer went out to the scene during daylight and checked the area, unable to find anything other than the normal, and he took pictures.
Oh, that's
which
good.
I did not find, but
it's secret.
The officer took pictures of said patrol vehicle, which has been locked in a garage in the Marshall County Sheriff's Department. So they had it locked up because of this investigation, and that's probably why there wasn't any like repairs or anything done on it. Because they wanted to see if someone maybe wanted to take out the sheriff too. Maybe they thought it could have been something worse than it actually was, so that's probably why they opened up the investigation in the first place. And then it was like, oh, hey, this is weird extraterrestrial type of activity that's going on here. And then, I don't know, maybe they got like nervous about that too.
I'm trying to see if... Because when... Well, just, for argument's sake, aliens, the dent when it hits the windshield is like so perfect that it bounced off the windshield and bounced off the hood and hit the windshield.
The angle looks correct.
Yeah.
Like it could have, it's lined up pretty close to where it's getting hit.
Even for that, like the damage on the actual windshield is so, I don't know what better word for intense, that I'm kind of confused as to how it didn't actually go through the windshield and hit
completely
the driver.
But it looks like it was a small enough size, maybe the size of like not even a golf ball. It looks like it might even be, maybe a golf ball.
It looks like a perfect hail dent, but heavier. Yeah. Like a sinker on when you're fishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it doesn't look as big as a golf ball on the hood of the car, but like where it hits the windshield, it could have been like a golf ball size object that hit it. But it still doesn't explain the antennas, which would have been a whole different, like a larger piece that could have done that. And it's weird how it's bent in the picture too. It's kind of like,
it's like
not forward bent, but like,
is that like to the side?
Yeah,
it's just
that's
odd.
Weird.
It could have been if the UFO went over, if it got hit and went up, it could have like flattened whatever the force.
That could be too.
And however physics works.
Physics.
Yeah.
I did not take physics in high school or college.
So
I could not tell you. We would have to bring in somebody else to actually look into
Lauren.
that. And Lauren might, but
she's smart.
And you would think that they would have brought people in if they thought it was something really big UFO related.
Well,
they should have done.
If it was an actual human being that was trying to hurt another human, I feel like they would have put a lot more emphasis into figuring out, did he have any enemies?
Right, yeah. What could have been the assault weapon, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they would do that now.
Yeah.
You don't really hear of ghost and UFO stories now. Mm-hmm. It was all before security cameras.
At least the big ones. Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah, we'll have to go there and investigate. See for ourselves and document.
Yeah.
See the dent in the antennas.
Okay, yeah, the antenna bent towards the rear of the vehicle, the top antenna, and then the rear antenna was also bent towards the rear of the vehicle. So they're both bent towards the same way.
That's crazy.
So, in the picture, it doesn't make it look like it's towards the back, but both of them are. So it was like enough force to it's all frontal. Everything happened forward.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to be in the car just minding my own business. So all of a sudden, UFO comes and knocks me out, stops my watch.
Yeah, I think it has to be something extraterrestrial. Otherwise, my other theory would be like a firework or something. But he would have heard something.
You would see ash and burn on the hood.
You would see something, yeah. But that would be the only other
how did
logical
the burns,
that I could think of.
How did the burns go through the car and hit him? Mm-hmm. So he would have to have been extracted from the car.
But yeah, well, welders, that's why they have to wear the
helmet.
Yeah, the helmet with the specific coating or whatever on the front part. So then that way the light, I think it's the heat and the light probably that penetrate that can cause the damage.
Aliens. It's aliens. It is aliens.
Let us know if you guys think it's like a hoax or if it could be extraterrestrial or what is another logical explanation for it. I think fireworks is probably the one that my brain goes to right away.
Yeah, where are engineers at?
Yeah.
Where are fire experts?
And we'll post links to articles down below too if you're watching this again on YouTube. We'll put all the links down below.
God help us out with this one.
Yeah. This one's really interesting.
We're going to go to this location. We have to. We have to find this car.
And also, let us know if you guys want to see video clips of that, if you want to see us kind of investigate the area.
I'm game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let us know, guys, if you want to see video clips of us doing that, or let us know if you have any other suggestions for us to go take a look at different areas.
But yeah, we'll end it here, and we will see you next week.
Yeah. Give us a follow.
Yeah.
If you like this, subscribe if you're watching on another platform.
We like friends. Hopefully you brought tea or coffee this time. Yeah. Bring it next time.
This one ended up being a little bit longer, so that's fun.
Yeah. Aliens. Aliens.
Aliens. Moral of the story, aliens.
Aliens. Okay. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.